Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Raven, and today I would like to share my experience with my career. I had a nursing career for about 10 years, and basically, I just never really felt like I found my place in nursing, so I haven't really worked in it since 2021. So since August 2021, I have not worked or been employed as a nurse. But my license is still in good standing. I renewed it even though I definitely felt like I wasn't going to be working in it. But you never know, and I've wasted a lot of time and energy getting that licensing and education, so it just did not make sense for me to let it go. But first, I'll start with saying why I went into nursing in the first place, because I feel like everybody asks themselves that question at one point or another, or I've had other people ask me that question. So I kind of have more of a long story involved in that. I'm probably not going to go into it into great detail, but I lost a child to leukemia in 2008, and she was 2 years old. Her name was Sophia. It was a very, very difficult time and challenging, and honestly, probably was a major turning point in my life, of course, for anyone who loses a child. But I felt like beating, excuse me, going to nursing school was a way for me to give meaning to her life, to my daughter's life. It was a way, I thought, for me to help people who had been through similar situations. And prior to losing my daughter, our daughter, I never really thought of nursing as a career. Like, I never thought it was something I could do because, for one, I never graduated high school. I was pregnant at 16, so I never graduated from high school. I never really thought about career goals that much, honestly, as a teen. I just lived a very different life than, the average person. So I just never thought that nursing was something for me. And I never graduated high school, but I did go back to school and get my high school equivalency. So when I was, I think, 18 or 19, maybe 20, I went back and got the high school equivalency. But I guess for me, I was like, I don't think I'll even be able to go to college with that. I just never thought about technical school. So, my reasons for going into nursing were more like had to do with helping and wanting to be kind and supportive and a resource for other people. So then I started the whole process of going to nursing school, and things just sort of fell into place for, whatever reason, and just seemed like it was supposed to be the right thing. Granted, I was probably attached to the outcome because I had lost a child. Now, looking back on this, I can say all that. But when I was going through it, I had no idea that one day I was going to not be working in nursing and it was not going to turn out to be what I had originally anticipated. So there's that. Um, so going through nursing school was okay, I would say. I mean, I guess if you ask any nursing student today, even, like, I don't know about today actually, because I feel like schooling has changed so much. Like, a lot of students aren't even expected to be in class and complete clinicals and, get the hands on skills because so much has changed since, of course, the pandemic. Um, But going through school was definitely an adjustment. Um, they say that nursing tries to weed out uh, behaviors and weed out people who can't cut it or can't hack it or whatever. Like they say that they just make nursing school hard for people who they don't think can succeed in it, which for me is like the complete opposite of what you think. Like, supposedly there was and is currently still a nursing shortage, but then why are you making it hard for people to get through school? Like that never made sense to me. So, you know, there's that. And then I also shattered my elbow during my last year of nursing school. And I should have just took that as like a sign to like not move forward. Um, but I pushed through it anyway. I still completed everything I needed to complete. It took me another semester to complete it, but I did a lot of the skills and practice and clinicals with a cast, and it was not realistic or ideal to anything, but made it. I made it through. So not to go directly into this, but I think it needs to be mentioned for context, right? Just to get an idea of where I live, the type of people I'll be working with, and interacting with on a regular. Um, when I went to school, there was only two of us, people of, I'll just say people of color because I'm black, I'm native, I'm white, I'm, mixed. So my other partner, she was from Africa, so she's born in Africa. So there was two of us in our whole class. So I'm imagining about 300 for the total class to graduate, and there's two of us who were of color. And then I think there was another native girl, but I'm not positive. And then there was another um, girl. So, I mean, there's like a handful of us who were people of color. So, I would say 95% of the nursing graduates were white, and maybe 10% were not. How about that? Let's just stick to those numbers. And that is pretty much on par with whatever Wisconsin says that their nursing demographics are. It's about 90% white and about 10% other. So I knew that like there was going to be challenges, but like I think I just didn't realize. And at the time when I was going to school, we didn't have like all these terms like we do today about in terminology like microaggressions and gaslighting, and we didn't have all that to guide us through navigating racism in the profession. So, yeah, I'm just going to say it. I feel like the nursing profession is racist. Um, there may not be any direct link, and I haven't even looked. Like, I really don't even need to look up anything. I can only speak from my personal experience and from my truth. Um, being in the profession for 10 years and then even going to school towards nursing for about 4 years. So, you know, I've had enough experience with it. So, um, obviously, I spoiled it for you by telling you that I'm not working in it anymore. So, clearly, it wasn't a good fit for me. Um, it, and I feel like it wasn't a good fit because my original intention for going into nursing had to do with being compassionate, being caring, being helpful, being a supportive person to people or families that are going through difficult health diagnoses. Ideally, I did want to work in oncology, but I could never get a job in oncology, which is crazy to think that someone who wants to work in oncology can't get a job in oncology because there's so many other people in it who don't want to leave it, who aren't in it for the right reason, I guess, or, meaningful reason. Because I think there's probably room for everybody, right? There's people who are caring, there's people who are super detailed, organized, supportive, critical, trauma. Like, there's so many different types of nurses, but I never found my space. And when I did, I couldn't handle the constant belittling or microaggressions or passive aggressiveness from my coworkers, from my superiors, from my even patients, right? Like, even patients. For me, it was far less the patients, and it was more my coworkers and my supervisors. Um, Obviously, people weren't as aware of their biases 10 years ago, but it's not an excuse to be biased or racist or to treat someone differently because they're not like you. So I suffered from that majority of the time that I worked in nursing, but I never spoke up or spoke out about it because I felt like I wasn't heard anyway, Like, it was just like, oh yeah, that's just somebody else saying that we're treating them different because they're black or they're not white or whatever. And I literally would experience people like not tell me information about a patient because they didn't want to help me care for them, So it was like I'll tell you the minimal information, but the rest you can look it up. So it's like, okay, I don't got time for that. Like, I got 6 patients I need to deal with. I don't got time to be digging for information. If you know something and you were responsible for caring for this patient, then you should tell me and report. But a lot of the time, it wasn't like that. It was like, I'm going to tell you the basics, and the rest, you can figure it out yourself. And that is a trend that happens in nursing, no matter who you are, because that is their way of um, what do they call it? Like, teaching new graduates how to be a nurse, by not helping them. So, but then still expecting them to know everything because they just graduated. When really, I think a lot of people don't understand is when you graduate from nursing school, you have the minimum amount of knowledge that it will take to take care of a patient safely and correctly. Let me say that again. When you graduate from nursing school, you have the minimum amount of knowledge that you will ever have to take care of a patient. Everything else that you learn after graduation is learned by experience. So you have the basics, but you will learn a heck of a lot. I mean, way more by working on your own than you will have from nursing school. So that's the problem with nursing school, is that one, it doesn't reflect the actual environment that you're going to be working in. And two, it creates this false sense of you got everything you need, you can handle this, when you don't, because they really baby you in nursing school. They really hold your hand through a lot of things. And I mean, this ain't everybody, this ain't every school, this ain't every person. But I would say, I don't know any nursing schools that really match what exactly you're going to be doing when you're an actual nurse. And I guess they really can't safely. So it makes sense. So let me just continue a little bit more about talking about my education, right? So I have an associate degree in nursing from a technical college. I went on and got a bachelor's degree in nursing from a state college. And then I went on and got a master's degree. Okay? Why? Why did I do that? Thinking that I was going to improve my career, improve my pay, improve my stress levels, improve my. That's what my goal was by chasing all those dreams. But none of that happened. Like, for one, my bachelor's degree was a complete pain, and like I should have just stopped after that. But then I met this teacher who was like, you really should keep going. You've got so much that you could contribute to in research and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I could. So then a couple years later, in 2017, I was like, I think I'm going to go for my nurse practitioner, because with the nurse practitioner, I could practice and do research. The worst idea ever, right? So I'll just start by saying that the school that I went to for my nurse practitioner is a small school. And again, it was 96% white and 4% other. So, and others could be anything, I guess. Um, I had concerns about it because obviously I looked that up before I went and enrolled, and I was like, oh, I mean, it is a small school, and I think they aim to be small because, whatever. But I think I'm realizing that it had more to do that they want to be exclusive, right? That school wants to be exclusive, not inclusive. So I realize that now, right? But at the time, I was just like, well, maybe there's just not enough interest. Maybe there's just not enough people of color who want to be nurse practitioners, or maybe they're not like, I don't know what I was thinking. You romanticize so many things, and I romanticized being a nurse practitioner, and I absolutely had a horrible experience, and I hated it. And I felt like I was carrying a backpack around every time I went to class or went to clinical or had to do something, and nothing was clicking. Like, it was just like I had so much anxiety from meeting the demands of this class, these classes, these clinicals, that I really lost myself, totally lost myself, and lost everything that I thought I was. I had a teacher who was a bully. she was racist. You can't tell me that she wasn't racist. She never called me the N word or anything like that, but she treated me a hell of a lot different than she treated the other students. She gave me the worst feedback, the worst advice, and she would yell at me whenever I asked her for help, right? So I've been completely traumatized by this woman, right? I have been completely traumatized by her. And no matter what I said to any of the faculty or staff, um, no one listened. They just made it sound like, oh no, no, this can't be true. She's not like that. And I'm like, oh yes, she is. Well, it's not a coincidence that she no longer works there. I'm sure that they did more digging, and I'm sure that they seen um, a lot of her conversations with me through email and through messaging. Um, but I just, after that whole experience, like I was so like disgruntled. So I ended up graduating, but I switched programs. I left the nurse practitioner program and went to nurse educator. And that was way easier. Like that was way more aligned with who I am as a person, 100%. But I don't think I needed to go through any of the things that I did with that specific teacher. And um, I'll never forget being treated the way I was by her. So, mind you, I think that all of that happened to get me to the point where I am today, where I'm like, I'm done with that. You know, I'm done with that part of my life. I put it behind me. I put that picture of being a nurse and working a, 8 to 3 or 8 to 5 job, 5 days a week, no weekends, no holidays, no nights. I put that away, right? I just packed it up and was like, I'm done with that. But it took a lot for me to pack it up and put it away because I had devoted so much of my life to that. Um, I did so much research and so much writing, and everybody hated what I was writing about. Um, really, now that I'm thinking about it, when I look back on it, is I was put in that place to awaken these people to what was actually happening in healthcare, because they were thinking, oh yeah, nurses are great. Nurses are, we got this. We're doing the damn thing. We're providing the best care we can. We're excellent, right? But the reality is that nurses don't provide good care all the time across the board. And nurses aren't educated the same across the board. Every state has a different requirement for their nurses to be certified or licensed. Healthcare is different in every single state. Pay is different in every single state. Responsibilities can be different in every single state. Responsibilities like patient care load. So, like in California, I think they put a cap on their patient numbers. So, the union, nurses union, fought for a limited number of patients to be assigned to each nurse, and I think it was 5. It could be 4. I think 4 is the most ideal number, but I think California may have got it to 5. I could totally be wrong, but either way, just so people are aware, like there is a standard, but most places don't follow that standard. Most hospitals don't follow that standard. So, anyways, so after I finished this master's degree, and I just felt like I graduated in 2021. I just got the everything, and I was just looking at this paper, and I'm like, I can't even believe I had to go through this to get this stupid piece of paper. And then, like, I did not even want to try to look for a nurse educator job because I had just been so frustrated with the process of getting there that I was like, what am I going to teach these students about nursing? But then I was like, just forget it. I'm going to do something completely different. I'm going to go into research. So I went into research. That was my last job. Um, I worked on a study, a large cohort study that studied asthma since birth. And this was their 40th year um, for doing the evaluations and physicals and numbers and breathing tests and stuff. So that was great and everything. But because the study had been going on for so long, they had had a nurse who was there for a long time. Whatever happened, she left. I came in, and things just weren't the same. I had no one to train me like on what to do as a nurse in this area. It was during the pandemic, right? So everything was messed up. Schools were practically empty. Like it wasn't their regular environment. So, anyways, I ended up leaving that job. I ended up moving back to Wisconsin. Whole lot happened like between now and then, and you know, long story short is that I think I just realized that I went into nursing for one reason, and I could never achieve that. I could never provide the care, the compassion, the concern that I wanted um, to patients. So, why should I keep giving myself to something that's clearly not giving back to me? So, that's what I came to. That's what I came to. Is that I gave so much to it. And I think I did partly because, one, I had lost a child to it. And that was the reason why I had went into it. So I was holding on to her memory also. But I realized that it was not good for me to keep going down this path. So I have let it go. I have let it go. The only thing that I say I would contribute to nursing or to healthcare in general is my knowledge, right? I don't ever want to work at the bedside anymore. But the only thing that I would contribute to healthcare is my knowledge or my research or my ability to educate people on health or educate nurses on care or something like that. But I would never want to be at the bedside, even with a student. No. Because for me, I did do that. I did clinicals with students for 2 years. And I was never good at covering what I thought should be the best environment for the patient and for the nurse, right? So I was always caught between, like, I could either do what's best for the patient and sacrifice what's best for me. So, like, taking care of myself, taking a break, going to the bathroom, eating lunch, having a snack, drinking water, whatever. Or I could sacrifice the care that I was giving, and it really shouldn't be like that in healthcare. Healthcare is supposed to be a healing environment. It's supposed to be a supportive environment. It's supposed to be a place where people go when they don't know how to fix something or handle it, and they hand it over to these trusted people, right? That's what it's supposed to be. But a lot of people who don't work in healthcare don't actually know the flaws, so they just trust. They just trust. People just automatically trust the healthcare system. And I think we should be able to trust our healthcare system. Like, that would be ideal, right? But I don't trust it. I don't think anybody should trust it. It's not safe for anyone. If you go to the hospital, don't go alone. And if you go to the hospital alone, or if you go with someone else, try to write things down, try to keep track, try to understand what's happening to your body, what they're doing, ask questions. Why are you doing this? What is this for? Do I need to keep doing this out? Ask questions, like be an advocate for yourself. Um, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Like, I can't imagine, like, some people go through so many challenging things and I feel like they don't even know the half of what's actually going on. I don't know. I think my whole attitude about healthcare has completely changed. My whole attitude about nursing has completely changed. Watching the pandemic, right? I never worked in a hospital during the pandemic. Oh, hell no. Because I said nursing was bad before this pandemic. Why in the hell would I want to go work in a hospital during the pandemic with no staff, with no equipment, with hell no, hell no, hell no. So I walked away from it. And sadly, I mean, nurses are still walking away from it. And that's why, right? Because the environment doesn't match what they say it's going to be or should be. There's no quality in healthcare. Like, think about it. Like, look at all the deaths that we had from the pandemic. So, like, thousands of people died in the US. That, to me, is a reflection of nursing, right? That's a reflection of healthcare. So, not exactly a direct reflection of nursing, but nurses are the largest profession in healthcare, right? And we provide the care, but we provide the care that is ordered by the doctor. So, I mean, I'm not saying that they're the reason to blame for all the deaths, but I think that we need to start considering that our healthcare system is trash, complete trash. For the amount of money that we pay doctors and nurses, right? And nurses now, like, nurses are bringing in bank now. But when I first graduated, no, 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 not even close. Like, probably even $10 less than what nurses are starting at. Probably even 15 less than what nurses are starting at today in some places. So I think America especially needs to consider how jacked up the healthcare system is, how the quality of their care is garbage, and nobody's doing anything about it. Like, nobody cares. We're literally just watching people die every day from things that could be solved by, how about appropriate staffing? How about not assigning a new grad 6 patients, 8 patients? How about actual training that supports nurses? I don't know. So that's my spiel on nursing. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly, yes. It's only a very small piece of my experience. Just to give you a brief rundown, I've had patients call me the N word and use the N word in my presence. I've had other nurses say the N word in my presence. Okay? I've had nurses trash talk me for wearing my hair natural. This is my natural hair, just like they wear their hair natural, and it's straight and it's flat and it lays down. Well, we're different. I don't have that kind of hair. So why should I be made to feel like I'm not wanted or I'm not welcome because I don't wear my hair like yours? Okay, I worked in surgery, and there were a number of people who could not stand if they found a piece of my hair anywhere in their locker room or anywhere in their area. microaggression at its finest, right? So I think I just started to realize that I was a hypocrite by staying a nurse, by working in healthcare, by being a part of something that does not match my values, my ethics, or my beliefs. So I finally let it go. I finally let it go. I let go of the pressure that other people put on me. I let go of the expectations that other people put on me. I let go of what I thought I should be doing. And, for the last year and a half, I've just been focusing on myself, finding myself again, and finding other ways to apply myself to help people in compassionate ways. And this is not a discouragement for anyone who wants to be a nurse, because I think if you go into it for the right reasons and with the right expectations, I think you'll be fine, But if you go into it thinking, oh yeah, I'm going into nursing because I want to be kind and caring and compassionate and helpful and blah, 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 blah. Okay, good luck. Good luck. But if you're going into it like, I just want to do my job, I want to scan my meds, I don't care about what happens, I just want to be a task-oriented person, then I think you'll probably do a lot better. So, and mostly because you're not going to really be attached to the outcome. You're not going to be attached to how you're making people feel. You're just going to be attached to the things and the tasks that you are doing. So I think if you are going into nursing with that mindset, knowing like, yes, I can still be caring when I want to, but my overall goal is to just going to be focusing on tasks, and you'll be fine. Because basically, nursing is a task-oriented job. It is like floor nursing, right? I'm not talking about office nursing. I'm not talking about educator. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about regular hospital nursing, clinic nursing. Those are task-oriented jobs, and you will do better at them if you stay task-oriented and you don't get attached to the outcome. So that is my shared experience on nursing, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I would love to hear what anyone else's opinion about nursing profession, healthcare, anything is. And again, I'm not trash talking nursing and nurses. I kind of am, but in general, I'm just speaking the truth on it. And I'm speaking my truth, right? So it's up to you to find your own truth and my experience. My experience is not everybody's experience. I'm just sharing one perspective, and you have to find your own truth in it, or find your own truth in your own life, and just see how it applies to you. Because really, I wish someone like me would have sat down and talked to me about these concerns before or even during nursing school. Like, just be real with people. Just be real, period. Like, there's so many nursing instructors that act like nursing is so great and that it's this rewarding, fulfilling career, when my daughter's nurses, right? I stayed in contact with them for a decent amount of time, but I'm still Facebook friends with most of them. So of those nurses who took care of my daughter, there was only one nurse who said they would redo nursing school. And these were nurses who had been nurses for 20, 25, 30 years. Only one out of a group of at least 10 said that they would do it all over again if they could. Now, I think if nursing were to change, healthcare were to change, the environment was what it should be, or supposed to be, or I guess intended to be, maybe it might be different. But I'll never know. That's for sure. I'll never know. I will never find out about that. Now, I would help try to make it improved, but not on the floor, not in a hospital. Hospitals are all twisted up. They have their priorities wrong. Not all hospitals, granted. Not all doctors, not all nurses. No, not everyone. There's always an exception to everything. But I would say, from my experience, the majority of my career, these have been the common themes and struggles. So, again, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. That's just one experience, but it's still a valid experience, and it's still something that should be considered if it's a direction that you are thinking about. So, until next time, the saga continues.